For thousands of years, the Egyptians knew well what is the Nile River for them. We are calling it the artery of life, part and parcel of our history and civilization. And without our Nile, we would never be able to create the civilization which amazed the whole world and will continue to amaze the whole world. And we are celebrating the Nile Floods Day in August. To know more about the whole issue and to know more about how the Egyptians really respected the Nile River, and we are going to continue with following the steps of our ancestors, we are very much delighted to have with us Dr. Zeina Salem, our tourism guidance specialist. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Zeina.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me more about Wafa Nile, and I really like the Arabic description of the day.
The Wafa Nile would be like the completion of the flood of the Nile. And actually, I believe that the word Wafa is derived from an ancient Egyptian word, Wafa. And Wafa is like madad, a plea, a call, a support, a call for support. And this is what is the Nile stands for. The flood comes to support the life, to bring life, to rejuvenate the life for the ancient Egyptian. The idea of the flood or the celebrating the day of the flood is associated also with a new year, because the first season of the ancient Egyptian calendar is the season of the flood, or Akhet as they used to call it. So it's also linked to the rise of the star of goddess Isis, or the soul of goddess Isis, Sirius, or the star Subdet.
The features of the day, I mean, how it was celebrated long ago.
Once they see the star rising, the night before, the king, I mean, it has different dimension. For the king, he has to celebrate the night of the rise of the star, which is associated with the arrival of the water of the flood to Egypt. And so the king would spend the night at the temple, lighting candles, bringing new linen to the gods, and calling all the gods. He would go and say, this year, this is a very beautiful year that will be opened, because he used to call this celebration Wabi Rembet, or the opening of the year. The opening of the year and the opening of the canals to receive the flood. So the king would go and say, this beautiful year will be opened by the god Amun-Ra. And thought is going to be there to celebrate the event, and so far he would call all the gods to open a new year, a new happy year for the Egyptians and for this land. And then the night before, people would be standing outside the temples, in the hallways of the temples, in the four courts, celebrating and looking up at the sky, witnessing the rise of the star. And then all the canals would be open to receive the new water. And this celebration used to be celebrated until like we built the High Dam and the Aswan Dam. So they used to celebrate the opening of the canal and Wafa Nile. I just had produced and written a script for a musical play that was just on the 16th, which is normally the day we would have a complete flood. I read in a book written by Edward W. Lane in 19th century that there used to be a man called Munadi Nile, or the caller of the Nile, and this man would go around Cairo streets, and starting from August 1st, he would go and say, today the Nile rises 1 cubit, and then 2nd of August would be 2 cubits, and then the 16th he would say, today النيل وفى وكفى وعم الخير البلاد. So today the Nile has completed its flood and brought welfare and abundance to this country. And then the 16th of August will be the completion of the flood. So I just tried to do like an enactment of the same celebration, linking the past. So in my play, I had the celebration of the nobles, what the nobles would do. So like dance and music and singers. Celebration. It's just a celebration. And the night before, they also all has to be all purified, wearing new linen, new clothing, just like what we do when we have Eid al-Fitr, you know.
When we have any Eid, we celebrate
purification,
with new outfits.
Exactly, and lots of food, special food, special kind of bread. So and then
we are still celebrating the very same way for thousands of years.
Of course, but because we rely on the Nile, nothing has changed much. I mean, the High Dam changed it, but not that much.
The Nile is still our Nile with all its blessings, because I feel that every time we speak about the Nile, we speak about a blessing from God Almighty. And would you please correct me if I'm wrong, as far as I understand that the Egyptians themselves, the old Egyptians I mean,
The ancient Egyptians, yeah.
the ancient Egyptians, they said those who are going to go to heaven, they are going to be answering some questions after death. One of the most important questions, did you make any harm to the Nile River? And if the answer is yes, oh, it's going to be something catastrophic.
They won't be able to be admitted to stand in front of Osiris, because Osiris, you know, Isis is the star of the flood, the guide of the flood, the one who poured the flood in its course. I mean the water. So her husband Osiris, he is the god of the afterlife. One of his manifestation is the mud of the Nile. That's why sometimes they show his skin black, and it's the water itself. So according to the story, like when his brother Sis cut him into pieces, he threw one piece in every part of Egypt, right? Equally. And this is a manifestation of the water of the Nile that has to reach every single land of Egypt equally. That's why ancient Egyptians consider it a divine Nile, a heavenly river. They consider that there is the same thing in heaven, that this Nile rises from heaven. And it was so sacred, and even they call it Itiru'a. And we still use the same word, At-Tura. And Itiru'a means the great river, the grand river.
Dr. Zeina, tell me more about the play and about how it was received. And above all, I'm very much curious to know about the artists, the actors and actresses, how they received the idea that they are going to represent the ancient Egyptians' way of celebrating the Nile River's Day or the Flood's Day.
It was really amazing. It was just like a dream 5 years ago. I've been writing articles about the celebrations, and every new year I go up and observe the rise of Sirius, the star, and come down, and then early morning I say, Happy Ancient Egyptian New Year, and then people go like, what do you mean Ancient Egyptian New Year? So I used to explain and write articles. So this year I said to myself, it's time that I have to turn my articles into like a play. And at the beginning people laughed at me. They were like, oh, you can't do this. But honestly, I have found some volunteers, beautiful artists, ballet dancers, and quite big actor like Dr. Khalid al-Zahabi, and they were all like happy to be part of it. I had to like organize and supervise, make sure that it's everything exactly look like the way it was. So even the moves of the dancers, we were trying to do like an enactment of an ancient Egyptian scene in one of the tombs, and a beautiful love story, and it came out very, very beautiful, I think. And even we had a poem that I wrote, and then a famous poet called Dr. Amgad Rayan, he turned it into a song. And we produced this song, and it was all about the star and the Nile and the cave of the Nile, things that most of the Egyptians have never heard about. I hope next year, I mean this year we celebrated on the 16th. My dream is to celebrate it
on the 15th?
On the day Sirius rise, which is the first day of the flood. In Cairo would be between 4th and 5th of August.
Okay.
If we celebrated in one of the temples where Egyptians believe that the cave of the flood is hidden there, in the island of Elephantine, they built a temple with an alignment of the rise of Sirius on that day of the new year. So my dream is to go and have next year play or musical or show over there. So imagine if something like this had been promoted from now to next year, how many tourists would come. Plus, in 2027, Egypt will witness a solar eclipse, and it's going to happen on the 2nd of August, which is associated with the new year.
Okay.
So imagine how many people would love to come to attend these two solar and cosmic events.
But I want to make sure of only one thing now, that we are going, inshallah, to be part of that.
Inshallah, I hope so. I hope they can just support me, because this year it was all done. I mean, I'm the producer, a scriptwriter, I have a director, all my team.
You are going to be a part
so I hope
of it,
next year the Ministry
inshallah.
of like tourism and culture would support and be part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I really have the honor to have you, Dr.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And happy Ancient Egyptian New Year, happy Flood Day, and all blessing.
Happy
to this
Egypt.
country, and happy
Yeah.
Egypt, and
Yeah.
abundance to the people of Egypt, all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right after the short break, we are going to be back with more. Stay tuned.